Alright, just painting this wood garage door. It had a lot of damage that had to be fixed up, so I sanded it and fixed it up. One important thing, these around these panels, there was a little crack that ran all around them. So a big thing with wood doors, or anything wood in general, is that water is definitely your enemy. So you don't want any water to get into the inside of those panels. There was a lot of paint that was off and wood that was starting to get rotten because of that. So I just used some paintable caulking. So I went around all of the panels on the whole door, and now I'm just going to let it dry and get nice and hard. It'll be dry in a few hours, and then I'll be able to start with my first coat of paint. So what I did was first prepped the door, sanded it, did the repairs were needed, and then obviously put the caulking on around the panel, every panel, especially for driving rain that would come in and just get down in all those cracks of those panels. And yeah, so after a few hours I'll be able to put the first coat of the paint on. I'll put 2 coats, and then it'll look like a brand new garage door. So alright, thanks for watching. Alright, now it's time to apply the first coat of the paint color. So it's a dark brown color, kind of matches the roof shingles. So what I like to do is just use a 2-inch brush, go around the inner part of the panel, the piece that's inlaid, and then I'll do the trim, as much of the trim with the brush. Now you'll notice I'm in the shade. You definitely don't want to do exterior painting in direct sun, because that can have a negative effect on the quality of the job. So I always make sure to, when I have a few different jobs, I make sure to go around and just follow the sun as far as when things are going to be in the shade, and that's just the best time to apply the paint. And also it's just nice not working in direct sun either, especially when it's like 25, 26, 27 degrees. That is the other thing. When I did this door, I made sure it was about mid-20s. Depending on where you live, the temperature, there'll be a range of temperatures. Here, though, I find in the mid-20s and below 20 to 25, or 25 to, say, 27, 28. If it's not super humid, then I believe that is the best time to apply the exterior paint. It does get pretty hot here in Canada, where I live, and in the summer it can get up to 35 degrees, which is way too hot, even in the shade, to be painting. And the humidity levels can also get quite high here. So I'm always cautious about that, because that can all affect how good the job is in the end. So then as I go with the brush, I like to just switch it up, and I'll roll some of the risen parts of the panel. And then I also do the trim around with my roller. So that's just a 10 mil roller, 9.5 inches long, with a roller cage. I can't get into the inlay part of the panel with the roller. Even with a small roller, it's just, I find the best is to use the brush for that purpose, and then, like I'm doing now, is just rolling it on onto the panels, the risen part of the panel, and the trim around it. Now with the roller, it does apply it better. You can tell, even here, you can tell where I rolled because it looks darker. So, but I was able to just do 2 coats. Sometimes it depends on the color that you're using. how many coats you may need, but obviously I can't get away with one coat here, but 2 coats was sufficient for this dark brown. So you can see the can of paint there. I use Seco paint, and that's what I've been using for years, and I think it's great paint. So I would highly recommend Seco paint. Now after I get this first coat all completed, then I'm going to let that dry for the rest of the day. The sun will eventually hit it later in the day, and then leave it for the rest of the day, go do something else, come back the following day to do the second coat. So obviously this is in the morning again, before the sun comes around. So in the afternoon the sun was in the west, and then it'll hit the door. But it was kind of nice, just the way the house was positioned. I had most or all of the morning and a bit of the afternoon to be able to schedule the coats in. So the same thing, I'm just working my way across. Now I don't do in between the panels, like when the garage door is going up. I don't paint that because I mean, you would just need to leave it open for so long. If you built that up in between, when the garage door is closed tight, that paint is going to be touching, and it's going to rip apart. There's no way that you can give it enough time to cure and get to its hardest point. And even once it got to its hardest point, when those doors are shut and the panels are pinched together tight, there's really no way of having the paint ripping off. So I just do the face. Yes, when you open the door, you will see the different color in between those panels, but I don't even think that's a big deal, because the garage door either is up or down. So you either are raising it all up or putting it right down. You're never leaving it in between, like the up and down. So I don't think it's a big deal to not do in between the panels, because yeah, it'll just rip off, and otherwise you'd have to leave it like partially up and down for like a couple weeks, to let it fully cure, or a few weeks. Like a dark color like this would take definitely a few weeks to totally cure. So always make sure to put a drop cloth down. You definitely don't want to get the paint on the cement or the bricks, because it has a tendency of soaking in really fast into the concrete, especially at the end of a garage. So yeah, you never want to get any drips. So, and with this color, it's going to be a little bit liquidy because it's a higher base. It can drip a little easier, so always best to make sure to have your drop cloth down. So yeah, that's the video, painting the garage door. I'm finishing up here. I just had it on a time lapse so that it was a quicker video. But let me know if you have any questions or whatever, comments about the video. Leave them below. I usually get back to most of them. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and look for more videos in the future.